is going on, guys? This is the SS Ultimate Goku back with another video to do the Week 18 Beast Picks season finale. Joining me, Rain 48.
So are you telling me we're not doing this in the playoffs?
Well, we got to talk about the playoff because as you guys know, and we're all praying for
Damar Hamlin.
Damar Hamlin, yes. We are praying for him, number 3. Very unfortunate situation, obviously.
Hey, he's making big comebacks, so we're very proud. We've got great news. We've heard great things today, and let's hope that the good news continues.
Yes. With that, though, something also in the NFL came out today.
Yesterday.
Well, yeah, but they approved it today.
It was announced yesterday by the AP and most of the league. It was just put in a formal memo today that the Bengals and Bills game will not count, will not be remade. And basically,
well, I have it right here on the sheet. Basically what it is if somehow Buffalo and Cincinnati or Kansas City meet in the AFC Championship game, it will be in a neutral site. Doesn't necessarily say if it will be an outdoor field or it would be a dome stadium. I would assume it would be a dome stadium, but who knows?
Revise that because it's if Buffalo or Cincinnati face Kansas City.
Oh, Buffalo. It says Buffalo and Kansas City win both or tie Week 18. Both teams advance to the AFC title game. Buffalo and Kansas City.
Yes, but all it means, Frank, it's not that if Buffalo and Kansas City play each other. Or it's not that if Buffalo and Cincinnati play each other. It's if Buffalo or Cincinnati play Kansas City in the AFC title, then it's a neutral game.
Oh, so it's not if it's Buffalo or Cincinnati then?
No, I believe if it's Buffalo versus Cincinnati, I mean it might be, but I'm pretty sure that it's more or less that the fact that those two teams are both missing a game.
Yeah.
It's to be advantageous of just handing it to one of the toughest stadiums in the league to play in. And the Chiefs fans are pissed off like the Bills wanted this to happen.
Yeah, we didn't want this to happen, obviously. I mean, if it was up to me, I would have tried to figure out a way for them to resume the game.
The problem is
I would have gotten rid of the Pro Bowl. I would have had the Pro Bowl because they don't even tackle in the Pro Bowl anymore.
Here's the problem. What is the Pro Bowl seen as for Super Bowl teams?
They already don't do that for Super Bowl teams.
Exactly. So it's a bye week. The NFLPA is looking at that as taking away a bye week and it being a health factor because the team that has now played 18 weeks already, 17 games, possibly 3 playoff games already, a maximum of 21 games, that's the bonus week to give them a week off going into the playoffs. Going into the Super Bowl gets you the week off. By canceling that, you're playing directly the week before the Super Bowl and then the Super Bowl. So you're.
Well, I mean, they've done that before in the past, though, where they've done it 1 week between.
With how fewer games.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
that's the point. They're looking at the health benefits of it, is why they're not doing it. Because it would have made sense, but you would have had to push the AFC playoff games to the following week with NFC having a bye.
Yeah.
You would have then they laid it all out. If Buffalo Cincinnati happens week 19, which is the first week of the wild card, NFC plays their wild card games. NFC gets a bye week the following week. AFC gets plays their wild card games. Then it resumes as normal without a bye.
Yeah. I mean, that would have been the ideal way to do it, I think. But
yeah, but again, if Buffalo or Cincinnati goes through, injury. They don't have a bye week from whenever their bye was mid-season till after the season. That's why it's not happening.
But yeah, it says Buffalo, Kansas City lose, Cincinnati also lose, tie, Buffalo, Kansas City advance the AFC title game. And also we got to take it into account that these two teams might play each other in divisional round depending on the seedings too. So I mean, I don't know why they don't mention that either. But Buffalo and Kansas City both lose, and Cincinnati wins the AFC title game. Is either Buffalo, Kansas City, or Bengals versus Kansas City. Now, there's another thing on here, and this is where the Bengals fans are pissed, is that if the Ravens defeat Cincinnati this week, this coming up Sunday, and the Chargers beat the Denver Broncos. And if Baltimore and Cincinnati are scheduled to play a wild card game against one, the site for the game would be determined by a coin toss. If Cincinnati wins the Week 18 game, or if Baltimore and Cincinnati are not scheduled to play one another in the wild card round, the game site would be determined by the regular scheduling proceedings. Which
it's never going to happen. It's too many things to line up.
It's crazy. And they won the division. The Bengals officially won the division.
And the Ravens are starting Tyler Snoop Huntley again. So
yeah, but that's the thing though. So yeah, those are the scenarios. It's really odd. I mean, especially the fact that the fact that anything could come down to a coin toss too, I just think is insane. But yeah, for the game. But yeah, that is what we're looking at right now with the neutral sites and stuff. What do you think of this? Do you think this is bad, good?
I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters. I think at the end of the day, the NFL did what they could do best to make light of an awful situation. It's the same as people who are pissed off and bitching about fantasy leagues. Unfortunately, this is an unprecedented time.
It is.
The only thing that should matter at this point, and I know it and I hate it, but the only thing that should matter should be the health of Damar Hamlin, which at this point looks like it's going very well.
Yeah, he was I believe his first words was like, did we win? And he's like,
well, so that wasn't spoken. That was written yesterday. He still was intubated. He had the tube in, couldn't speak.
Oh.
However, they removed the tube last night. He has officially spoken to the team. He was on a Zoom call with the team this morning. He no sooner got on the call and he made muscles for the team. He told them he loved them all. So for being as terrifying as that 3-hour period was for a lot of America, whether you're a Bills fan or not, nobody wanted to see that.
Yeah,
the league, for as poor as it seemed like they handled it on Monday, with the supposed 5 minutes.
The NFL, that pissed me. And you know what? I'm going to say this right now, and I truly believe this. I believe that Zachary Taylor and Sean McDermott made the decision.
They did.
They made the decision. They talked to each other at midfield, and they were like, we're not playing this game. We don't know.
So as much as I love Sean McDermott and the Buffalo Bills, Zachary Taylor is a top-notch act in my book, because what they've reported and what Zachary Taylor has said was that Sean McDermott at midfield told him, I shouldn't be here and I can't coach this game. I need to be with Damar at the hospital. The league wanted it to continue. That's why they took the timeout. If Buffalo would have just said, we're not playing, and Cincinnati would have said, we're playing, they would have ruled it a forfeit. Zach Taylor and the Bengals team were absolute class acts in the way they handled that, taking care of the Bills, taking care of Damar, because the Bills coaching staff helped, but if the Bengals staff isn't there, if that stadium isn't set up the way it is, Damar's probably not here. So kudos and thank you to the city of Cincinnati right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It was great what they did, and I'm very happy that he's making a recovery as well. And all good around. It was a very good way Cincinnati and Buffalo all handled this. It was handled absolutely the right way it should have been handled. And I'm glad it was, because, I mean, we've lived in times where they just go on. I remember as a kid, I mean, we know WWE did the thing with Owen. I didn't like that. And I'm sure a lot of people didn't like that. I'm glad we've gotten past that too. Where we can, the show doesn't go on when you have the situations like that. You can't do that.
It's becoming very much so a world where you have to understand the situation in which you're in. And very much so, very quickly, that situation became terrifying for everybody involved, for everybody in the stadium, for everybody watching at home. Frank and anybody who watches the show, you guys know I'm very rarely quiet.
Yeah. And
you could have heard a pin drop Monday night in the Tiki Bar. There was no words. There was no joking. It was sheer terror. And how is this handled? And I hope he's okay. So thankfully, Twitter, in the age of Twitter, updates have been readily available and quickly available. His family's been very quick. One of my fantasy leagues, the league, obviously, the fantasy leagues weren't cleanly won unless nobody had anybody going on Monday night.
Yeah, it was kind of weird for our fantasy league too because he had two.
They still haven't figured out how the payouts are. Regardless, my other league I run, the first and second place teams decided they did not want the payouts. We put that money and donated it to Damar Hamlin's Chasing M's Foundation.
Yeah, good. Absolutely. That was awesome. Okay, so with all that explanation going on, there are games still this week. They are wearing the patches too. They had reported that today as well. The patch.
The Bills are, and league-wide is honoring him this week, correct?
Yes. So that is also another great thing they're doing for Damar Hamlin. That's though the first game for our predictions, because we still got some picks. We both went 10-5. Last week. Obviously we didn't count the game that unfortunately was canceled. So right now, you got 158, 96, 2. And then I got 153, 102, and 2 ties right now for overall. We were 10-5 last week. So yeah, that's where we are right now with those. With that being said, first game of the week is tomorrow. What time is recording tomorrow?
4:30.
4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Kansas City Chiefs at the Las Vegas Raiders. And I believe the Chiefs are the favorites in this.
9-point favorite, correct.
9-point favorites. But I will say the Raiders did pretty good last week, despite not having Derek Carr in there. But at the same time, I don't see them beating Kansas City. Kansas City, though, I do kind of worry about Kansas City because they are kind of shaky. They're shaky. They almost lost to the Denver Broncos. And I know you had like a 40 burg on them last week, and that was a field goal game. So I'm going to say Kansas City Chiefs win. I'm going to say it is 21-17. I think it will be closer than people think, but it will be low.
Screw it. I got some room to play with here. I've called it out a couple times in the last few weeks that Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs have looked mortal. And I think with everything going on in the league and everything weighing on them, and the Raiders wanting to prove, especially with Jarrett Stidham wanting to prove, hey, I deserve to start next year, I'm going to say Jarrett Stidham and the Raiders beat the Chiefs 31-30.
Interesting. So you missed extra point?
No, I'm going to say that it's Kansas City, 3 field goals, 3 touchdowns. They're up 30-28, and the Raiders kick a field goal to go ahead with seconds left on the clock.
Okay, interesting. But I will note that there's a possibility, and I know this rumor's going around that Tom Brady might be going to the Raiders next week.
I haven't heard anything about the Raiders. I've heard the Niners more so than anything.
Oh, really? I've heard the Raiders. I mean, if you listen to Dana White, I mean, he said that there was going to be
Dana White hits his wife. We don't talk about
he said there were going to be a deal like beforehand, and then
we don't talk about Dana White.
So I mean, who knows? But anyways, next game, 8:15, Saturday night.
I might watch this game.
Oh, you may. Oh, yeah. This is for the division. Tennessee Titans, Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm assuming Jacksonville's the favorites here.
They are 6.5.
6.5. And Jacksonville is 8-8. The Titans are 7-9.
Basically, the Titans game or division, the Titans lose, and the Titans lose or tie, and it's over. The Titans have to win to win the division.
Yeah, they have to win the division, but I don't know what that does for Jacksonville. I think that knocks Jacksonville out. I'm not sure though.
Not necessarily. Jacksonville, Miami, Pittsburgh, and New England are all 8-8.
So yeah, they would all have to lose though for them to still get in. I'm gonna say I'm gonna say Jacksonville wins. Tennessee just sucks right now, and I think the odds more are in the Jaguars' favor here. So I'm gonna say Jacksonville wins 26-13.
Well, they easily handled Houston last week.
They couldn't beat Houston.
Quarterback. No.
The Jaguars. Titans couldn't though.
The Jaguars played them last week though, and benched Trevor Lawrence at the half.
Yeah. So
the Jaguars are thriving, and I think the Jaguars could be a scary team come playoff because they're hitting their stride as a young team. It's kind of like Buffalo a couple years ago when everyone, they actually do have a pretty talented young quarterback. That's Trevor Lawrence now. I'm going to say the Jaguars win this game handily. I'm going to say it's 42-17.
Oh, wow. 40
Jaguars
bird.
make their statement going into the playoffs.
All right. So the next game.
Can I double down on that statement?
What?
Jaguars win 42-17, and 2 touchdowns are from CJ Beathard, the backup.
Oh, wow. You going there. All right. Next, Cleveland Browns at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers are the favorites.
And a lot on the line in this game.
Yeah. What's the betting?
2.5-point favorite for Pittsburgh.
Okay. I believe the Steelers will win the game. They did surprise me at the end with the Ravens and all, but they did come out and win that game, which again, I always love the Ravens Steelers game because that's always close and it's hard hitting, and it was a really fun game at the end there. I think they beat the Browns. Obviously the Browns made me happy last week when they won, but I don't see them winning this one. I think the Steelers will probably win in a close game. I think it will probably be like 17-13. I think it will be kind of close.
We're on the same wavelength. I think Pittsburgh wins this one. I don't trust the Browns. But their defense looked very good last week, and so does their special teams. Something's keeping them alive, and it's not Deshaun Watson and his allegations. I'm going to say Pittsburgh wins this one 20-17. They keep their playoff hopes alive for now.
What'd you say it was? You said it was 20-17?
20-17 Pittsburgh.
Okay. All right.
I would love nothing more than to see the Pittsburgh Steelers get into the playoffs. But I can't talk myself into thinking that Joe Flacco is going to beat the Dolphins to knock them out.
Oh, he's starting over White or Mike White?
That's this week.
Oh, he's starting over White. Okay. Next we have the Baltimore Ravens at the Cincinnati Bengals. We were just talking about. I think the Bengals are the favorites.
A 9-point favorite, yes.
Yeah. This is going to be difficult to say whether they win or lose because I don't know how to handle situations like this. Obviously, they were in a similar situation, the situation that they were in. I don't know how the players are going to be coming out of this.
The Bengals players?
Yeah, I don't know how what they're going to be like in terms of the mental
psyche.
Yeah, the psyche. So that's the only thing I concern. Obviously, on paper, I mean, I don't know. I think Lamar's not playing. So
correct. He has now not practiced for 32 straight days.
So, I mean, the advantage edge I think goes to Cincinnati, but obviously the psyche thing you just don't know. I'm going to still say the Bengals win. But I'm going to probably give this more of a close thing because of the psyche. I'm going to say it's probably 21-10.
I'm going to go on the opposite end here, and no, I'm not picking the Ravens. I'm going to say that.
Well, yeah, I'm picking Cincinnati.
But when I said I'm going to go opposite, I'm not saying I'm going to go opposite. Pick the Ravens. I'm picking the Bengals by a blowout.
Okay.
And I think it's because I think this team is also relieved to hear that DeMar's doing well. And I think
T. Higgins was there the entire time when he was in the hospital.
And I think T. Higgins is going to come out and put on an absolute performance in honor of DeMar. I think T. Higgins is going to have a 3-touchdown day. The Bengals beat the Ravens 35-7.
Okay. Next we have the Minnesota Vikings against the Chicago Bears.
And you don't have Justin Fields, so don't get wise.
I like what I seen from them last week.
Are you gonna go?
I didn't say I was gonna pick them. Well, what's the betting
Nate
odds?
Peterman to beat the Vikings?
What's the betting odds?
The Vikings are a 6-point favorite.
So what? Nathan Peterman? You mean Nathan Peterman, like the best quarterback ever? Just kidding.
I want to let you know I would never let you scout for even a peewee football team.
Nathan Peterman, man, he's the meme.
Nathan Peterman, Nick Foles, and Joe Flacco.
I was joking about Nathan Peterman.
Nathan Peterman, Nick Foles, and Joe Flacco.
Nick Foles has a Super Bowl and Joe Flacco has a Super Bowl.
And so does Trent Dilfer, Frank. Defend him.
Whatever. I do think the Vikings do win. Because the Bears suck. That doesn't mean I think they're going to do anything good in the playoffs. Besides the fact that you thought my Packers would be going home by this point. But they're not. I think the Vikings win 20-10.
First and foremost, I'm gonna set straight on one thing. The Bears don't suck.
Okay.
I think they've made strides under Matt Eberflus this year. I do. I think their defense looked very good. Given the fact that they held the Eagles to 25 points with Jalen Hurts, and they almost beat the Dolphins, who are currently a playoff team. I don't think the Bears are terrible. They traded 4 starters away. I think give him one more year of letting him coach, get a line in front of Justin Fields. I think the Bears are going to be in the spot next year at this time that the Lions are in. And I think you'll get your grandest wish, and the Vikings will be at the bottom of the division next year.
As long as we're in the top of the division.
I'm not saying you're going to be in the top of the division, but you'll probably still be a playoff team if Aaron Rodgers doesn't retire. That being said, no Justin Fields equals no chance for the Bears. Nathan Peterman equals double chance for the Vikings. By Steiner math, that's 100.
How many interceptions do you think he's going to throw?
I'm getting there. By Steiner math, that's 133 and 2/3% chance that the Vikings beat the Chicago Bears with at least 2 defensive touchdowns. I'm going to call it 28-3 Minnesota Vikings. Their only touchdowns are to Justin Jefferson because he dragged my fantasy team last week.
I loved that last week. That was sweet revenge.
Yeah, maybe try it without having hands all over him at the line of scrimmage.
What do you mean? They weren't interfering with them.
Your cornerbacks are caught on tape saying, get hands on him, get hands on him. That was 1,000% disgusting football.
What about the Dolphins when they didn't call interferences on them?
But we all knew that was interference. That's just on the refs being shitty.
Well, yeah, they weren't calling interference there.
They didn't call interference on 2 deep balls, not the whole game.
There were a bunch of them they were calling. Anyways, next the also these are I know we mentioned it, but these are the Sunday games, 1:00 games. New England Patriots at the Buffalo Bills. What are the favorites here? Bills?
The Bills by 7.
Bills by 7. And again,
I might as well say Bills by $1 billion.
I mean, again, this is going to be another situation where
the
psyche.
No.
Okay.
Psyche's not going to do a damn thing here, Frank. If we were going into Sunday and there was no positive direction from Damar Hamlin, yes, this team would be a shell of itself. The fact that we're going into Sunday and we'll be 2 days removed from what looks like Damar is well on his way to recovery, whether that means he plays football again or not, I would hate to be any team in this league that steps in front of Buffalo from here on out. Because you want to talk about playing for something? The Bills are now playing for a brother. The Bills are playing for somebody to win something that he cannot now.
Well, then also, I mean, Buffalo has gone through a lot this season, too.
You're right. And I think finally they're going to go all cylinders. I'm going to say Buffalo hangs 52.
I don't know if they would want to put 52 on. I feel like they would like by like the 40th point, they would probably pull people by that point.
That doesn't mean shit. You think that the entire team's not going to play inspired?
Oh no, I know that, but I'm saying like by 40 points, if they're winning like 40 to like 0 by that point, it's like
52-10 Buffalo Bills.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it 41-17. I think they do beat the crap out of them.
And there's nothing more poetic.
But I think they're going to I don't think they're going to get 50 because I think by the 40 points, they're going to start pulling. Patriots might get some garbage touchdowns, but in
It's
the
the
end, they're gonna
NFL. You
blow 'em
don't
out.
take your foot off the throat. Go for the kill.
All right, but yeah, Buffalo wins. All right. Next we have the New York Jets at the Miami Dolphins. And you said Joe Flacco is starting this one, as we said earlier.
So here's the big thing. It's a battle of third stringers. Who do you trust the most?
Well, Tua's not playing. It's or is it Bridgewater's not playing either though.
It's Skylar Thompson and Joe Flacco.
I trust Joe Flacco.
I'm gonna take Miami.
Really?
13-10. It's gonna be a defensive game. Because when it comes down to it, if I have to look at the weapons on the other side and who you're going to get the ball in someone else's hands and whose defense is going to make the stop first, they don't have to be throwing all day. Miami still has the better offense. I will take Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle before I take Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore 10 out of 10 times.
Okay, well, I have to go the opposite on this thing because
Okay.
between the third string quarterbacks and Joe Flacco obviously has starting experience here. He did beat the Browns obviously this year in a comeback. I think Joe Flacco gets it done. And also the slump for the Dolphins too. They've lost like 5 straight. Okay, you got a close up now?
It's the Browns.
Okay. I think the Jets win the game 23-16.
I don't think there's
and they end the Dolphin season.
I'm going to tell you right now, if I have to pick one thing to bet on in this game, it's the under. That's the only guarantee I'm betting on is the under. If I have to bet on a defense, I'm betting on the Dolphins.
Okay.
And I have actually already.
Okay, next, Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Atlanta Falcons.
Atlanta's a 4-point favorite.
What is Tampa resting?
Probably. They've already made the playoffs. Why start players?
They can't get a better seed.
That's why week 18 is so bad, is for fantasy purposes, who are you going to start? Half your guys aren't playing.
And the divisions too. I mean, if it's a historical division rival, they probably would play it, but for like stuff like this, they're not gonna.
So, hint for anybody who's watching this who also does daily fantasy. If you're doing daily fantasy, play players from the Bengals-Ravens game, the Dolphins-Jets game. I would say play players from the Bills and Pats game because the Pats have something to play for and the Bills are playing with renewed hope. Play from Pittsburgh. Play from Green Bay and Detroit if you can get in that game.
All right. Okay, I do think the Bucs will win. But I mean, it could depend on what their plan is for starting and benching. But I'm just gonna say the Bucs win 20-13.
I'm gonna say the Falcons win 27-10 because if they're gonna bench offensive players, they're also gonna bench defensive players, which means that strong running game that Atlanta's formulated is going to get to run. So I like that option. I'm gonna say Atlanta.
All right. So then the next game is the Carolina Panthers at the New Orleans Saints.
And in other words, who gives a shit?
Well, hey, the Saints did pretty good last week. I mean, they upset the Eagles.
They upset Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, but he looked good the previous week against the Cowboys. I thought he was going to do better than that after that, and he kind of laid the egg. Who's the favorites for this?
Great question. It is New Orleans. This is a tough one, and
what's it by? What's it by?
3.5.
3.5. Okay.
This is a tough one for a big reason here. You got to think Carolina wants a higher draft pick, but at the same time, Sam Darnold ain't going to tank. He knows he's playing for an NFL job next year, and he's looked pretty damn good. That's
What do you
why this
think?
game's an interesting one.
What do you think?
I'm gonna say the Panthers beat the Saints.
Okay. What do you
Sam
got?
Darnold did every damn thing in his control last week to beat Tom Brady and the Bucks. The
It was a pretty
defense
good
didn't
game.
show up. They hung almost 30 points.
Yep.
This is a Carolina team that had no business being around. They got rid of 3 starters. They traded off Christian McCaffrey. They had no business being in this, not even thinking they should have been a playoff team. So, quite honestly, yeah, I think Sam Darnold proved he's not the worst quarterback out of that class.
He's a
I think,
decent quarterback, but he's
but
not great.
I think he still ranks ahead of Baker and Josh Rosen.
Well, Josh Roden never really got a fair shot, to be fair, though.
Yeah, but he's bounced around enough teams that are quarterback needy and still not held a job. Take that for what it's worth.
Yep.
Who do you got?
I'm gonna say the Saints win.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it I'm gonna say it's ugly. I'm gonna say it's 16-13.
Did I give a score, man?
I don't think you did.
17-7 Carolina.
Okay. Next we have the Houston Texans at the Indianapolis Colts. And who was the favorite in this one?
The Colts.
What is it? By 3?
3. Good call.
3? Okay. Nick Foles got beat to oblivion, and guy did snowflakes on him. So you know.
Listen, I don't love Nick Foles, but at some point you got to have some form of awareness to realize that you're looking like a scumbag doing snow angels next to a downed quarterback with broken ribs.
Yeah, so he's not starting. I don't even know who their starting quarterback is.
Sam Ellinger.
Sam Ellinger. I think the Houston Texans win this game.
Son of a bitch.
I just don't see anything else happening here. Texans or Colts have just looked like crap. Houston has been kind of competitive in the last couple of games. I'm gonna say the Texans, they got a lot of stuff that they got to do in the offseason and they got to figure it out. I hope they keep their coach this year because it's not the coach's problem why they suck, but we'll see what happens. 23-7, Houston.
So can I question you on one thing?
What?
You want to root for the Colts here, right?
Why would I want to root for the Colts?
Because if the Texans do win, the Chicago Bears, who were an offensive line and some parts on defense away from being a decent team, get the first overall pick.
What, the Bears get the first overall pick?
The Bears are 3-13 right now.
Well, what does that affect the Packers?
Because it's still putting a top pick in the league, which is supposed to be one of the best edge rushers that's come out in years against Aaron Rodgers now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's all going to depend on what they decide to pick because they might position-wise. Sometimes
but they're not going to go quarterback.
Well, yeah, they're not going to go quarterback, but sometimes they go with the needs. I don't know if they necessarily need him or not.
They need an edge rusher desperately. They traded all theirs.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Or worst case scenario, they trade down and pick up more picks, which I think you'd hate more. I'm also going to join you, though. I'm going to say Houston does this. I think the Colts are a miserable excuse for an NFL team. They should just sell and move again, like they did the first time.
They go from Baltimore to Indianapolis, and then they go to another team.
Yeah, they deserve to. They're horrible. Get rid of that whole franchise. Just fold them. Have 31 teams. Screw the Colts. I'm going to say the Texans win 10-7.
Okay.
Worst game of the season.
Next, we have the Arizona Cardinals at the San Francisco 49ers. This is the 4:25 game. First one. What is 49ers?
49ers are a 2-touchdown favorite.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it is. I mean, Mr. Irrelevant is just, all of a sudden, I mean, we're looking at this as like, oh, they don't even need the guy that might come back for the playoffs, Garoppolo. Um, 49ers win. Cardinals don't really have anything going for them. And obviously the Niners need to secure, I guess, the second seed right now if they want to. I mean, it's up to them. They don't get a bye for that. But that's what happens if they win. I mean, they don't win, then the Vikings win, then they don't get it. But I don't really know what that really will do for them. But 49ers, I do think win 31-14 pretty easily.
I don't think it's by that much, but I do agree. I want to boast about this because I said that was the dumbest draft pick in Niners history was to trade up to take Trey effing Lance last year, who's started a total of 3 games in
What do
one
they
snapped
do
ankle.
now? What do they do now if you're front office? You see this guy,
Trade him. Get rid of him for anything. A bag of jock straps. Get rid of him. Don't keep him. He's awful.
yeah, but what do you do now in a situation like that? Because now you got this guy potentially. Garoppolo might be gone.
You need to call any call the Carolina Panthers. They love taking retread quarterbacks. Get rid of him. Get rid of him. He's not good.
Would you commit to the guy they have right now, though, as a starter?
No, but I would offer Jimmy G a 2-year deal at around the same amount of price he had and make it an open competition. I'd be okay going into training camp with Garoppolo and Brock Purdy. They both fit the Shanahan system. That's your best case scenario. You do not. Trey Lance never fit that system. They were 1010% gonna go Mac Jones with that pick, and then the media blew a fit. Yep. Mac Jones fits the San Fran system. That's why Brock Purdy does well. He's a timing rhythm quarterback. Trey Lance, being a kid who can run the ball a lot and isn't a great passer, never fit that system. That is the exact thing they did with Colin Kaepernick years ago. He's big and he can run. Cool, but what happens when the NFL realizes he can't pass?
Yeah, but you said the 49ers, right?
Niners are going to win this one. I don't trust David Blow. 20-10, Niners.
20-10, okay.
Niners will be resting half their players by half.
All right. Next we have the Dallas Cowboys at the Washington Commanders. The Cowboys are the favorite. The Cowboys have a chance still to win the division, and this division is still in play, so they will be playing people.
And I guess that was the whole reason that they put them both at 425 was so they couldn't see each other play.
What's the favorites here?
The Cowboys by 7.
Okay. So I think the Commanders are starting like their third string quarterback. They're starting Huffer, I believe his name is.
Rookie Sam Howell out of North Carolina.
Sam Howard.
Howell.
Okay. Yeah. I think the Cowboys will easily win this game. Obviously, they have stuff to play for with this game because they still have a chance to win the division now with the Saints upset win last week. So I do think the Dallas Cowboys are going to be playing hard. Washington just looks like crap. Not that I'm not complaining because they looked like crap against Cleveland. I watched a lot of that game, and I believe if they had not started Carson Wentz, they probably could have won that game. The first half, the Cleveland Browns offense was god awful. It was awful, and Commanders couldn't do anything until like the last drive of the first half.
I don't want to talk about the 2 quarterbacks not starting.
And that was what did it. That was their best drive. And then after that second half, Browns blew them out. And
I'm asking a legitimate question for you here.
What?
Do you have any idea if the Cowboys have been good against running quarterbacks? Because I'm actually blanking on that stat.
Well, I mean, Hurts. I mean, they didn't play. Well, they played him once. I mean, I don't know if they looked good in that.
So here's the thing. I'm going to predict a massive upset here.
Really?
Yes, especially if Dallas gets wind that Philly's not starting Hurts or they don't think it's going to matter. Going into this past year's draft, Sam Howell had the potential to be a top 10 quarterback pick. He's a
Really?
kid. Yes, he's a kid who at North Carolina had a golden arm. I think 2 years ago he threw for 35 touchdowns. And then last year he suddenly regressed, so he fell. But the sudden regression really wasn't anything. The sudden regression had to do with the fact that he had two top receivers go into the draft, go in the top 3 rounds, and then was left with rookies, freshmen. He ran for 14 touchdowns last year before he got drafted. How is
Okay.
a kid who can make plays on the ground and in the air? I would not be shocked to see Sam Howell steal this game, almost in the way that Taylor Heineke did last year, where he looked good at the very end of the year, and we open I think he can stick around. I'm going to say Sam Howell steals this game 20-17, and the Commanders beat the Cowboys.
All right, I'm going to go on the other side of that. I do think the Dallas Cowboys are going to be motivated. I think the Cowboys will win this game. I'm not exactly sure how Howell is because this is probably my first time being able to see him.
But that's it. We haven't seen him as a pro is the thing. We've never seen him against
then that's the
NFL
thing.
defense.
And that's the thing. Like, I can't bet on that though.
But I
So
guess that the other way I'm taking this is what tape do these guys have to know how he's going to run in this offense?
that's
There's
true.
there's no defending that. There's no. What are you going to do? Go to preseason tape where it's all vanilla plays? Like nobody knows what they're going to imply with him.
Yep. I'm gonna say Dallas though. I'm gonna give it 27-14.
All right.
That's what I'm about. Cowboys are gonna. I mean, we don't know, but they're playing at the same time, so we'll see what happens. I mean, obviously they might get wind during the halftime or something if it's a blowout for Philly.
Exactly.
Bench, but that's what I'm thinking right now. Next we have the LA Rams and Seattle Seahawks.
A game that really means nothing.
Well, it means something for Seattle.
Are they in a playoff spot?
Yeah, they are. They have to win, and then the Packers have to lose. That's why this is why the scheduling is terrible. I said the Packers. I was surprised that they had the Packers and Lions at Sunday Night Football because if Seattle wins, then they need my team to lose to get in, which means the Lions won't be playing for anything. And the only way the Lions can get the playoff spot is if Seattle loses. And then they would have to win, which is why they should be playing at the same time. But again, NFL makes no sense sometimes.
So to be fair, they flexed. They originally did not have that set that way. They double flexed this. No, they hadn't
announced anything yet.
They had Baltimore and Cincinnati originally.
That was what the rumor was that they thought that might happen.
And then they announced officially right before they canceled the Bengals game that they had moved that to 1:00 on Sunday. They originally had that, I think, in the 8:20 slot.
Well, I don't know why they did it, but that's what they did. Sometimes
listen, the world would rather watch Detroit and Green Bay anyways.
Yeah. So, anyways, but yeah, I'm assuming Seattle's the favorites.
5.5 points.
5.5.
Let's hear you say it. I know what you're gonna do, and I'm gonna bet with you.
What, Seahawks winning?
No. I know you're not betting that.
What, you think the Rams win?
Yeah.
No, I don't think the Rams are gonna win, unfortunately. I mean, obviously I would probably bet them if I needed them to win, but I think Seattle has played that team really good this year, and I think Pete Carroll deserves a hell of a lot more credit than he gets. Because, I mean, he literally took so much shit from the media about how, he's holding Russell Wilson back and all this shit. And he took someone who has been viewed as a draft bust from New York, the New York Jets, Geno Smith. And he took a guy that we both agreed we didn't think would be a good starter.
Never.
At the beginning of the season. We didn't think anything of it. And then he went and played a solid regular season. I think Seattle wins 24-14 against the Rams.
Let me do my homework here. I have one thing I need to see. That's all I want to see. All right. I'm going to give you a glimmer of hope here.
What?
The Seahawks have been one of the streakiest teams in the back half of the schedule, given that they started. Shit. The Seahawks started 6-3 and are now 8-8. They've lost the majority of their last couple games. One of the only games they've won was the Rams game in which Matt Stafford got injured. What's the biggest change since Matt Stafford got injured?
What for the Rams?
Yes.
That they've not really played that good.
No, offensively, they've hung a ton of points. They've
Yeah, but
targeted
they're not winning.
But what positions are they targeting?
What for the quarterbacks?
The
To receiver?
Rams. They're throwing at the tight end more.
Yeah.
And they're also running the ball more.
Okay.
Seattle ranks 31st in the league against the run and 32nd in the league against tight end.
So you think the Rams are going to win?
I'm going to say the Rams win in an upset. I'm going to say we're going to trade spots. Back on December 4th, the Seattle Seahawks beat the Rams 27-23. I'm going to say the Rams get their revenge 27-23. I'm going to say Cam Akers has 2 touchdowns in this game.
I wouldn't complain about it if they
I know
if
you
Seattle
wouldn't.
does lose. If I just don't see it, but we'll see. Next we have the New York Giants at the Philadelphia Eagles.
Hold on. Can I say something?
What?
We all know the league's scripted anyway, so you know Seattle's going to lose because you have to make some excitement going to Sunday night.
Nah, I don't believe that.
Bullshit.
No, dude. It's not.
What are they filed under as a money-making group?
I don't think the games
What are they
scripted.
filed under?
Who? File who?
What is the NFL filed as?
What? Sports.
No. An entertainment source.
I don't believe it.
They are. They are. Look it up.
It doesn't mean anything,
The
though. There's anything
NFL is filed as an entertainment source. The same as movies and the WWE. They're not filed as
that's because they have NFL films.
Okay.
I don't know, dude. I mean, do I think the referees make dumb decisions that cost people games? Yes, I do think they do that. Do I think that they know that people are going to win and lose in a game? No, I do not. I do not think that happens. I do think the referees try to screw people though, and not make calls like the Saints and the Rams a couple years ago.
Mark my words. Seattle's winning 23-20 with 5 minutes left in the game. Cam Akers breaks a massive run and the Rams win 27-23.
It happens in games sometimes.
I'm just saying, mark my words.
Anyways, Giants, Eagles, huge rivalry. I heard the Giants might not be playing some of their guys.
Giants are benching all their players.
They don't have to because of seeding, but that kind of surprising because this is a dead hot, heated rivalry. I was expecting.
Yeah, but at the same time, Philly's not going to start theirs either.
Well, no, they have to because they have to win the division still. The division's still up for grabs.
Yeah,
they
but
haven't won
Philly's
it yet.
Not going to probably start Jalen Hurts. You might get a couple touchdowns,
but you risk then losing the division.
And I think you'd rather go in healthy. You've made the playoffs. I think you'd rather go in healthy.
Okay.
As a coach, if it were up to me, and you knew that Dallas had the same amount of chance, the Redskins aren't good, and I'm sorry, the Commanders aren't good, and the Giants are benching everybody. I'm playing my backups against their backups and hoping my backups are as good as theirs.
So you're going to say this is a backup game, basically?
I'm going to say it's 100% a backup game. I'm going to say you might get a quarter of Philly starters. And if Philly gets up by 2 touchdowns in the first quarter, you're going to see Boston Scott and the rest of the ragtag.
Well, and also, I mean, it's going to be interesting because they're going to still have to emphasize to the backups that, hey, we want to win this game, because this is getting a home game for them.
Okay, but here's the thing. Winning this game don't mean shit to these guys. You know why?
The Giants, but to the Eagles it does because they get the home game.
But it doesn't because it shouldn't. When I say doesn't mean shit, the Giants and Eagles backups shouldn't be going, well, we need to win. No, they should be going, we need to go balls to the walls. You were already a backup on a team. You're going into potentially free agency or whatever. Okay. Do you want to be lowly recruited, or do you want to go out and go, hey, look what I can do?
Yeah.
Like, all these kids, especially if you've got guys on your low end B squad, C squad that need to show out, they're going to show out. You've got kids that are going to be playing for their career, let alone all win.
Yeah. We didn't predict the scores yet, so let me
Yeah, I'm letting you go.
I'm gonna say the Eagles win because I think the Eagles will start some people in the beginning, even if they do bench later on. And again, they're going to be more motivated to win this game than the Giants because the Giants are locked in on the 6th seed. They can't go any higher or lower. And obviously the Eagles have the most to lose because if the Cowboys win and they don't win, they lose the division and they lose the bye and they lose the home games that they would get throughout the playoffs, assuming they get all the way to the championship game. So I do think the Eagles will still win. I got it 21 to 10.
I got the Eagles 27-16.
Okay.
Matt Breida has a touchdown for the Giants.
Okay. Next we have the LA Chargers against the Denver Broncos.
The Broncos are a 3.5-point favorite.
Really? Is that right?
Yeah, because I guess if you look at it this way, Cincinnati plays at 1, correct?
Yeah.
So if LA already goes into this game knowing that the Ravens have lost and the Chargers can't go higher than 5th, why are the Chargers going to start any of their starters?
I guess.
But that's it. Unfortunately, like, you're not going to start your starters. You know, why risk them getting hurt? You're not going higher and you can't fall lower. You are locked at 5.
Okay. And the Chargers are the favorites, right?
No,
no, you said the Broncos
are the favorite.
Okay, you said they're 4 points, yeah. Even if that happens and the Chargers do not play their starters,
you're still going to take the Chargers.
I was going to say the Chargers. I still trust the Chargers over the Broncos right now. The Broncos starters.
I guess the concern is how well do you trust whoever the back, I think it's Easton Stick or Chase Daniel, to throw against Denver's starting secondary? That's the big thing. I'm going to say in this scenario, Denver wins 10-3, and their only touchdown is a defensive touchdown.
I'm going to say Chargers win 13-3.
Fair enough.
Yep. All right. My team, Sunday Night Football on NBC, 8:20. Detroit Lions
sorry.
Going at the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau Field, the title town. Who was the favorites?
Green Bay.
By how much?
4.5.
Go Pack, go. We got our sweet revenge against the Vikings, man. I was just so waiting. I wish they would not have given those garbage touchdowns at the end. I was pissed that they gave them. I wanted to just destroy them. But we did. Alexandra stuck it to him, which I liked. And also, again, the Lions, again, as we talked about earlier, might be just playing for respect because if Seattle wins, then they're officially out of the playoffs contention going into this game. But I don't think that's going to matter because I think they will still play regardless if that scenario happens. But I think my Packers will win the game, obviously. The defense looks good now. The special team, we got Nixon, kickoff return. That takes the field position out of the game if he does what he did last week and he's been doing for the past couple of weeks. That's going to take field position out. And that's going to make it much better for Aaron Rodgers. And I think the Packers easily win this game. I got this game going down 34-17. Go Pack, go. We're in the playoffs. And if we have to play the 49ers, Aaron Rodgers, you got to win that game. But otherwise, I would be happy to destroy the Vikings in revenge. If, again, this time Minnesota. Either or, it doesn't matter because we'll be in the playoffs, and that's all that matters. Go Pack, go. Woo!
What did I predict about Seattle?
That they were going to lose. You also predicted the Vikings would win, and you said I was going to have a disappointing week this week for the predictions. So
yeah, but remember last time Detroit and Green Bay played, and I correctly predicted Detroit. I correctly predicted Detroit.
Yeah, but it was a different team. That was a different. Our offense was struggling. Our offense was struggling.
I watched the whole game. Week 6?
Yeah, our offense was struggling at that time,
and so was Detroit's.
Yeah, but ours was worse.
No.
And our defense was crap. No. We could have won that game, and we blew it.
And your defense still can't stop. Your defense couldn't stop a small 2-year-old child with scissors.
Ooh.
Your defense could not stop a toddler from running with scissors because that's how bad they are at stopping the run. You've got 2 running backs now that are going berserk.
I mean, we stopped the Vikings run.
No, you stopped Kirk Cousins from doing anything worth value, and that's about.
We were doing pretty good on the run on that
because they had to pass to stay in the game.
But what about that goal line stand?
Detroit Lions.
Goal line stand, we stopped them 2 times, and they had to kick a field goal.
Detroit Lions
are gonna lose.
Make the playoffs, and I can't wait because I will buy you an Amon St. Brown jersey.
No.
To wear at the draft next year.
Packers won.
I will buy you an Amon St. Brown jersey to wear at the draft next year. Detroit wins. Calvin Johnson is great.
What does that have to do with
everything? Barry Sanders is God. Brett Favre is a ripoff artist. Detroit Lions.
Hey, no. Favre
24. Green Bay 14.
Wait, what was the
score? 24-14. Lions in the playoffs.
No, Packers are gonna win. But yeah, those are all our picks for this week. Hopefully next week we can do it in the studio again. We've been really crazy this month or last month. Oh, by the way, I should point out that the Packers in the month of December and January under Matt LaFleur is 18-1. LaFleur is 18-1 in the regular season. Just putting that out there, by the way. So yeah, but those are our picks. Go Pack, go. Make sure to comment, rate, subscribe, all that other stuff. Hit that bell for all the latest contents and redirect. If you're watching on the website. And yeah, guys. Also, Kyle, your sponsor. Too.
Shout out to dude Kyle at Chicken Dippin'. I don't have any stickers, or else I'd give us one. I'll give you one next time I see you.
All right.
I got a bunch of chicken dipping stickers. Check out Kyle Chicken Dippin', chickendippin.com. Hit him up online. Use code 716 for 15% off your orders, and go Lions, go.
Nah, go Pack, go. That's about it, guys. I'm out. He's out. The SS Ultimate Goku, Rain 48. We're out of here. Peace.